You didn't arrive here by chance. Something unseen aligned this moment, like a cosmic signal reaching across the static, pulling you into a message you were always meant to hear. Feel that, the quiet recognition that this was waiting for you. That is not coincidence. That is the mirror of life responding to your frequency. For too long, you've been trained to believe that reality is fixed, external, something that happens to you while you scramble to catch up. You were told to wait until the outer world shifted before you could feel safe, worthy, or abundant. But the truth, friend, is far more daring. Reality is not a stage where you are a powerless actor. It is a living reflection, endlessly echoing the signal you broadcast in every breath, in every thought, in every subtle emotion you allow to linger. This is the loop many remain trapped in, trying to smile at the mirror while frowning inside, repeating affirmations while vibrating doubt, dreaming of abundance while rehearsing fear. The mirror does not lie. It reflects coherence or confusion, clarity or fragmentation. It does not filter or delay. It simply reflects who you are being in this moment. Here is the quantum shift. You are not only an observer of this mirror, you are its source. You are not waiting on the field. The field is waiting on you. Every expectation you nurture, every belief you embody, every quiet pulse of your nervous system sends out a signal. And the quantum field, the vast, intelligent ocean of possibility, does not interpret your words. It responds to your vibration. So breathe deeply. Feel the command radiating from your core. You are not begging reality to listen. Reality has always been listening. You are not chasing change. You are becoming it. And in this instant, as you awaken to the truth of your creative authority, you step into the shift that has been waiting within you all along. And from that recognition that reality is listening, you begin to see with new eyes. The world that surrounds you, the body you inhabit, the objects you hold as solid and undeniable, they are not what they appear. Science whispers the secret matter is not truly solid at all. It is a dance of vibrations, a web of probabilities, a vast expanse where over 99% of everything is empty space. Imagine that for a moment, the chair you sit on, the phone or screen, through which these words reach you. Even the bones in your hand, they are built not from unyielding blocks, but from atoms whose cores are minuscule suns, orbited by particles that are themselves waves of possibility. Between them lies emptiness. And yet this emptiness is not nothing. It is potential, alive with the hum of frequency. What does that mean for you? It means the solidity of your world is a kind of illusion, a projection of energy shaped by perception. Like a hologram, reality materializes only when observed, collapsing infinite potentials into the singular form that matches the observer's vibration. You are not a spectator of this collapse, you are the tuning mechanism. Think of a mirror again, but now imagine it is alive, not a flat surface, but a responsive fabric, shimmering and fluid, waiting to echo back the essence of your state of being. Smile at it with authenticity, and it reflects joy through synchronistic encounters. Approach it with hidden doubt, and it mirrors uncertainty in the form of delay or confusion. This is not punishment, it is feedback, precise and immediate. And here lies a liberating truth. The universe is not measuring your worth or passing judgment on your desires. It is reflecting with neutrality, much like light bounces from a surface, much like sound reverberates in a canyon. When your frequency is fragmented, the reflection seems chaotic. When your frequency becomes coherent, the mirror sharpens, and life arranges itself with uncanny precision. Have you noticed those moments when everything falls effortlessly into place? The right person calls at the exact time. The answer appears in a sentence overheard. Doors open without struggle. These are glimpses of coherence. And just as clearly, there are times when no matter how much effort you apply, obstacles multiply, confusion deepens, and the outcome feels perpetually out of reach. That too is the mirror, not to mock you, but to reveal the dissonance in your vibration. The mystics of old intuited this truth, describing it as within, so without. Today, quantum physics echoes the same principle: entanglement, coherence, collapse of the wave function, different languages, same revelation. The outer reality bends to the resonance of your inner state. This is why the mirror metaphor matters. Because once you realize the reflection is not fixed, once you see that it responds faithfully to your signal, you awaken to the power that has always been your high. You don't need to fight the mirror or force its image to change. You only need to shift the frequency you are broadcasting. The living mirror is not an enemy. It is a teacher, a feedback system designed to guide you into awareness. Every repeated pattern in your life, every circumstance that stirs frustration, every loop that seems endless, it is not a barrier but a signal. It is showing you, with precision, what you are sending into the field. And so the question deepens: if life is a mirror and matter is vibration, what signal are you transmitting into this vast canvas? Are you radiating fear cloaked in hope? Are you sending signals of doubt beneath words of faith? Or are you finally ready to align what you feel, what you think, and what you embody into coherence? Because once you see the mirror as alive, the next step becomes clear. You are not here to wait for change. You are here to become the change that the mirror cannot help but reflect, carrying forward from the image of the living mirror. Consider how most of us have been taught to engage with life. We wait. We wait for the outside to shift before we dare to feel differently inside. We tell ourselves, "I'll relax when the bills are paid. I'll feel love when the right person arrives. I'll trust life once it finally proves itself to me." But in that waiting, we become reactors, never transmitters. This is the trap of the third dimension, believing that reality is a one-way broadcast, something that happens to you, while you stand by as a powerless receiver. In this mindset, your emotions are always delayed, always contingent upon circumstance. You only celebrate after the victory, only feel worthy after the recognition, only embody peace after the storm has passed. But what if this is the very loop that keeps you bound? Because the quantum field, the canvas of potential, does not work in that order. It doesn't rearrange itself to match your requests, while you remain unchanged inside. It listens to the signal you emit now before the proof arrives. It translates the vibration you are embodying in this very breath into the patterns you see tomorrow. Think of yourself like a transmitter tower. Every thought, every emotion, every subtle expectation becomes a broadcast. If you send out static fear hidden beneath affirmations, doubt disguised as positivity, the transmission wavers, and the field reflects dissonance. But when you step into alignment, when your thoughts and emotions flow in the same direction, your signal becomes clear. The mirror sharpens. The reflection arrives faster. This is why two people can live in the same environment, face similar challenges, and yet experience reality so differently. One is locked in reaction, broadcasting anxiety, confusion, and scarcity, and so life reflects chaos back. The other, even in the midst of uncertainty, transmits trust, coherence, and inner abundance, and the mirror reflects opportunities, synchronicities, and unseen support. Reaction keeps you tethered to the old script. Transmission begins to write a new one. Reaction says, "I'll believe it when I see it." Transmission whispers, "I'll see it because I already believe it." And the quantum field responds faithfully to the latter, because it can only echo what you are being, not what you are postponing. Reflect on this. How many of your choices have been driven by reaction, waiting for proof, clinging to external signs? And what would shift if, instead of waiting, you began to transmit deliberately? Imagine waking each morning not scanning for problems to fix, but broadcasting the signal of the version of you who is already whole, already resourced, already aligned. This is not pretending. This is not performance. Transmission is not about faking a smile in the mirror. It's about becoming the one who naturally smiles, because the inner state has shifted. The outer reflection has no choice but to follow. And so, the invitation is this: stop rehearsing the vibration of lack, of fear, of doubt. Stop waiting for reality to justify your worthiness. Instead, claim the authority that has always been yours. Step into the role of transmitter. The field is listening, always. And the moment you transmit coherence instead of reaction, the living mirror will reflect the difference with precision you can no longer dismiss as coincidence. The stage is set. The shift is already happening. The question is not whether reality will mirror your state. It always has. The question is, what signal are you ready to broadcast next? And from the moment you realize that you are a transmitter, a deeper layer of truth emerges. Because not all signals are equal. Some are sharp, coherent, undeniable, while others are blurred, fragmented, and weak. The difference: authenticity. You've seen it before, perhaps in your own life. You repeat the affirmations. You visualize the dream. You speak the words of abundance, but beneath the surface, another current runs. Maybe it's fear of not being enough. Maybe it's doubt whispering, "This won't last." Maybe it's the ache of old wounds still humming in your nervous system. And so, while your mouth declares one message, your body broadcasts another. Which one does the field listen to? Always the deeper one. Because the quantum field does not tune in to what you say. It responds to what you vibrate as true. Words without alignment are like static on a radio. They can be loud, they can be repeated endlessly, but if the frequency beneath them is dissonant, the signal never lands. This is why some desires never seem to materialize. It's not that the universe is ignoring you, it's that the signal is split. Imagine a musician playing a violin with strings out of tune. No matter how skilled the performance, the sound carries dissonance. The audience does not hear the intention, they hear the vibration. In the same way, the field does not interpret your effort, your struggle, or your insistence. It mirrors the tone of your energy, whether harmonious or fragmented. And this is where authenticity becomes power. When your outer words and inner state finally align, when you stop pretending to feel gratitude and instead embody genuine appreciation, when you stop forcing confidence and instead breathe into true self-trust, your signal sharpens, the mirror clears, the reflection arrives. You've experienced flashes of this. Moments when you weren't trying to control anything, when you weren't forcing an outcome, when you simply felt good, at ease, grateful, present, and suddenly synchronicities unfolded around you. That is coherence in action. Authenticity doesn't strain, it transmits. So ask yourself, where have you been sending mixed signals? Where have you been saying, "I'm ready," while still holding on to the vibration of "I'm not safe"? Where have you been speaking words of love while secretly carrying doubt about your worthiness? The field hears the vibration beneath the performance every time. And the shift begins not by adding more affirmations, not by chanting louder, not by pretending harder. The shift begins when you get honest with yourself, when you pause, breathe, and admit what you are really feeling, because even that honesty carries a frequency of clarity that the field can work with. From there, alignment becomes possible. From there, your signal begins to clean itself. Authenticity is not about perfection. It is about coherence, and coherence cannot be faked. It hums when thought and feeling, desire and belief, presence and intention move in the same rhythm. It doesn't roar, it resonates. So notice your own broadcast. Strip away the static of shoulds, of masks, of performance. Beneath it all, what are you truly transmitting that signal? Unfiltered is what reality is already reflecting. And when you dare to make it authentic, when you allow your inner truth to harmonize with your outer words, the field has no choice but to echo it back. With precision, with immediacy, with undeniable clarity. And from that honesty about your signal, the next revelation rises like a tide. Coherence is not just a nice feeling, it is the creative engine itself. Coherence is when your thoughts, your emotions, and your body fall into alignment, like an orchestra tuned and ready, every instrument resonating in harmony. In that state, the field listens with total clarity. Modern science has begun to catch up with what mystics intuited centuries ago. The HeartMath Institute discovered that your heart emits the most powerful electromagnetic field in the body, stronger than the brain's. This field radiates outward, sometimes measurable several feet beyond your skin, and it communicates not only with your nervous system but with the environment itself. When your heart and your mind are in sync, your entire electromagnetic signature shifts. Consider what happens when thought and feeling diverge. You think abundance but feel lack. You imagine love but still hold fear. That dissonance weakens the signal. The brain sends one frequency, the heart radiates another. The field, receiving both, reflects back static, yet when the thought of abundance is married to the feeling of gratitude, when the vision of love is paired with the vibration of worthiness, the two frequencies merge into coherence, and coherence collapses probability into form. Joe Dispenza describes this elegantly. The mind generates the electrical charge. The heart generates the magnetic pull, and together they form the electromagnetic signature that reality responds to. You can't fake this. You can't paste gratitude on top of fear and expect coherence. The body knows. The nervous system transmits the truth. The field listens. Think of a tuning fork struck into vibration. Place another tuning fork nearby, tuned to the same frequency, and it begins to vibrate too, without ever being touched. That is resonance. Your coherent signal is the tuning fork. The field is the other. When the frequencies match, reality cannot help but respond. This is why people who carry coherence seem to bend reality around them. They walk into a room and the energy shifts. Opportunities flow to them without forcing. Their lives are not free of challenge, but their challenges reorganize more fluidly because coherence acts like gravity, pulling circumstances into alignment with the state already established inside. So reflect, when was the last time you felt coherence? Not fleeting positivity, but a deep, undeniable congruence between what you thought, what you felt, and who you were being. That moment was not luck, it was not random, it was creation. And here is the humbling truth. Coherence is not occasional. It is available in every breath, every choice, every act of awareness. It is not about becoming perfect, it is about aligning your inner symphony so that the field can reflect it. The mirror sharpens in coherence. Life stops scattering signals back at you and begins to deliver with precision. And as you deepen into this truth, you start to see that coherence is not something to chase. It is something to embody. It is the alignment of thought and feeling, presence and belief, frequency and form, because coherence is not only the language of creation, it is creation. And when you embody it, reality cannot resist your signal. It must respond. And from the recognition that coherence creates, The next step becomes clear if coherence sharpens the signal. Then what blurs its static? The invisible interference that distorts your transmission before it ever reaches the field. Static takes many forms. It can be the echo of old pain you never fully released. It can be resentment carried silently, guilt tucked deep inside, or the quiet hum of unworthiness you inherited from voices long forgotten. These fragments linger in the nervous system, radiating signals you may not consciously choose, yet still broadcasting into the mirror of reality. Think of a radio trying to catch a clear station. If the dial is slightly off, if competing frequencies interfere, the music dissolves into noise. In the same way, your life dissolves into loops when unresolved emotions muddy the signal. You visualize abundance, but the frequency of scarcity crackles beneath it. You affirm love, but the vibration of abandonment still radiates through your cells. The field responds faithfully, not to the image you hold in your mind, but to the authentic broadcast of your body. This is why emotional healing is not separate from manifestation. It is the heart of it. Every time you release resentment, every time you breathe through fear, every time you forgive, you clear static. And with each clearing, the transmission sharpens. Presence is the scalpel, not the frantic attempt to fix yourself, but the stillness to notice what you are actually feeling. Presence does not judge the static, it observes it. And in that observation, the vibration begins to shift. Awareness itself is transformative because it stops the unconscious broadcast of old wounds. Consider the patterns repeating in your life, the cycles you can't seem to escape, the situations that return again and again. They are not random punishments. They are feedback loops. They are the mirror showing you the static still humming inside. The reflection is merciful in its precision. It shows you exactly where your frequency contradicts your desire. So ask yourself, where do you feel stuck? Where does life echo back scarcity, betrayal, or limitation? Instead of resisting these reflections, read them. They are signals pointing to the static still unresolved. They are invitations, not obstacles. Clearing static is not glamorous work. It often looks like sitting quietly with your discomfort, letting the tears move, or admitting a truth you've been avoiding. But in those moments, the frequency reorganizes, the static dissolves, the mirror shifts, and soon you notice subtle changes. The conversations that once drained you no longer hook your energy. The opportunities that once eluded you begin to arrive. The flow of life softens, not because the universe has suddenly favored you, but because you've tuned the dial to coherence by clearing the interference. The truth is, static cannot be outrun. It cannot be ignored into silence. It must be acknowledged, felt, and released. And when you do, you become a clearer transmitter than ever before. This is not punishment, it is preparation. The mirror shows you the static only, so you may see it, heal it, and refine your signal. The universe is not against you. It is guiding you into alignment. So breathe deeply, scan your inner landscape. Where is the noise? Where is the interference? Because the moment you face it with presence, the static begins to fall away, and your signal becomes unmistakable. And with the static dissolving, the path opens to a deeper practice embodiment. Because while clearing the noise prepares the channel, what you transmit into the quantum field depends not on the images in your mind, but on the version of yourself you consistently embody. This is where many seekers get stuck. They spend hours visualizing, picturing the dream, rehearsing scenarios, but all the while their nervous system is broadcasting a different frequency. They imagine wealth while still carrying the vibration of lack. They picture love while still radiating the ache of unworthiness. The mind paints, but the body broadcasts. And the field always listens to the body. Visualization, on its own, is a rehearsal of sight. Embodiment is a rehearsal of being. The first sketches the picture, the second makes you the picture. Which one do you think the mirror of reality reflects more faithfully? Always the one you embody. Think of athletes preparing for competition. They don't merely imagine victory, they rehearse the movements, the emotions, the state of focus, until their body knows the outcome before it arrives. This is neuroplasticity at work, the brain wiring itself to the identity of success before the event. When the competition comes, they are not performing something foreign. They are expressing what they have already embodied. Your life works the same way. The future self you desire, confident, abundant, loved, cannot remain a sketch in your imagination. It must be practiced in your posture, your choices, your emotional set point. This does not mean pretending. It means rehearsing the truth of your higher self until your nervous system recognizes it as natural. Science affirms this. Studies reveal that the brain cannot fully distinguish between a vividly imagined event and an actual experience. When you feel into the state of your future self, when you breathe as they would, speak as they would, walk as they would, your body begins to rewire, your chemistry shifts, your electromagnetic field changes, and the quantum field receives a new signature to reflect. This is embodiment, not waiting to feel worthy until you have proof, but walking through your day from the stance of worthiness now, not postponing gratitude until circumstances shift, but radiating genuine appreciation now, not waiting to be loved before you open your heart, but transmitting the frequency of love now. The paradox is powerful. When you embody the state you once thought you had to wait for, the waiting ends. The field responds. Life reorganizes around the version of you who is no longer reaching, but being. And notice, embodiment is not about flawless consistency. You will wobble, you will forget, you will fall back into old rehearsals. But each time you return to the state of your future self, you strengthen that identity. You become more familiar with it. You train your nervous system to hold it longer. Eventually, it becomes who you are, not who you are striving to be. So reflect. How does your future self think, feel, breathe, and act? Begin to embody that today in small, simple ways. Because the mirror of reality is not waiting for a perfect image. It is waiting for a consistent signal. And the moment you embody that signal, the field has no choice but to reflect it. Embodiment is the bridge between potential and form. It is the moment the dream stops being an image in your mind and becomes a frequency in your body. And once it is alive in you, the world cannot help but echo it back. And from the act of embodiment, another truth emerges like a shadow at the edge of the light. Even as you practice becoming, silent signals still slip through. These are the whispers beneath your conscious choices, the quiet broadcasts of beliefs you may not even know you're carrying. They are the roots of self-sabotage. Think about it. How many times have you taken steps toward your dream, only to hesitate at the threshold? You tell yourself it's not the right time. You convince yourself to wait until the circumstances are perfect. Outwardly, you're speaking the language of readiness. Inwardly, your signal is saying, I'm not ready yet. I don't trust myself yet. I still don't believe it's possible for me. And the quantum field reflects the signal, not the script. These hidden transmissions often come from deeper places, childhood imprints, cultural conditioning, the echoes of old failures. They operate like programs running in the background of your mind, shaping your choices without your awareness. You might declare abundance while unconsciously radiating the inherited belief that money is dangerous. You might affirm love while still broadcasting the fear that intimacy leads to abandonment. The field does not hear your words. It hears your vibration. Greg Braden speaks of a living, responsive field, an intelligent matrix that organizes itself not around surface-level affirmations, but around the emotional truth humming in your body. This is why self-sabotage doesn't look chaotic. Often, it looks quiet. It's the subtle hesitation before saying yes. It's the invisible wall that rises when opportunity knocks. It's the pattern of circling back into familiar discomfort, even when a better path has opened. But here is the gift hidden inside the sabotage. It reveals the silent signals you've been sending. The delay, the obstacle, the loop. It is not rejection, it is feedback. It is the mirror showing you what you have been too afraid to face. So how do you shift these silent broadcasts? First, by noticing them, by catching the whispers in the body, the tension in the chest when abundance is mentioned, the sinking in the stomach when love is offered. These are not flaws, they are maps. They point directly to the frequencies asking to be healed. Then comes integration, not suppression, not denial, but bringing the hidden belief into the light of awareness. Saying, yes, I feel unworthy. Yes, I fear abandonment. Yes, I still doubt myself. Because paradoxically, the moment you stop resisting these feelings, their grip loosens. The act of acknowledgement shifts the vibration. The field, which was reflecting unconscious fear, now begins to reflect conscious presence. And from there, new choices become possible, choices that align with your embodied self, not your programmed past, choices that transmit clarity instead of confusion. Every time you make such a choice, you rewrite the silent signal. You dissolve the self-sabotage at its root. Remember, the field is not judging you. It is mirroring you. And self-sabotage is not proof of failure. It is a signal flare, pointing you toward the places where your broadcast is fragmented. When you face those fragments with courage, coherence begins to return. So ask yourself, what silent signal have you been sending? Where do you hesitate even as you affirm readiness? Where do you repeat cycles that don't match your declared desire? Because the moment you bring those signals into awareness, you stop being unconsciously driven by them and start transmitting consciously again. Self-sabotage loses its power in the light of presence. And once you see the hidden broadcast, you can choose a new one. The mirror shifts, the loop dissolves, and the field reflects the signal of your embodied truth. And from the unraveling of those silent signals, a deeper refinement calls you forward presence. Not the scattered awareness of a mind chasing tomorrow or clinging to yesterday, but the sharpened precision of being fully here, in this breath, in this body, in this exact moment. Presence is often misunderstood as passivity, as if to be present means to withdraw from the act of creation. But the truth is the opposite. Presence is precision. It cuts through the noise of fragmented signals and anchors your vibration into clarity. When you are fully present, you stop broadcasting the static of old memories and the anxiety of imagined futures. You become a pure signal, coherent and unmistakable. Think of a laser beam compared to a flashlight. The flashlight disperses its energy in many directions, illuminating but diffused. The laser, though weaker in raw wattage, is concentrated so precise that it can cut through steel. Presence is that laser. It doesn't waste energy in distraction. It channels every particle of your being into alignment, and the quantum field reflects that sharpness. Have you noticed how life seems to rearrange itself when you are truly present? A conversation flows effortlessly. Synchronicities stack. Inspiration sparks. It feels almost magical, yet it is nothing more than resonance responding to precision. The tuning fork of your energy vibrates clean, and the field harmonizes in response. Contrast that with the days when your mind is scattered. You think of 10 things at once. Rehearse fears from yesterday. Project worries into tomorrow. Your body sits in the present, but your vibration is fractured across timelines, and the field, true to its nature, mirrors the fragmentation. Obstacles multiply, confusion deepens, outcomes stall. Presence, then, is not optional. It is the ground of all coherence. It is the practice of tuning your signal in real time, moment by moment. When you breathe into the present, you take the static off the line. You become unmistakable to the field. Consider the simple act of awareness. When you notice your heartbeat, when you feel the breath enter and leave your body, when you drop into the sensation of your feet on the floor, you are not just calming yourself. You are aligning your frequency. You are transmitting a state of clarity that the mirror of reality can reflect without distortion. This is why mystics spoke of stillness as a gateway, not because stillness itself creates, but because stillness removes interference. It returns you to the clear tone beneath the noise. From that tone, intention carries weight. From that tone, the field listens with precision. So pause now, feel into your body, notice the rhythm of your breath. That, right there, is the foundation of creation, not tomorrow's vision, not yesterday's regret. This moment, because the field is not waiting for a future version of you. It is responding now, always now. And here lies the liberation. You don't need to chase the perfect future to shift your reality. You need only to embody precision in the present, because the present is the only point of broadcast. The past is memory. The future is potential. The now is the transmitter. Be the laser. Be the clear tone. Be the precise signal in this breath. And watch how the mirror reorganizes to reflect the power of your presence. And from the sharpened precision of presence, the final revelation unfolds. You are not waiting for the shift, you are the shift. The mirror is not a distant authority reflecting back a future you must chase. It is a faithful companion, reflecting who you are now. And when you embody coherence, presence, and authenticity, you stop searching for change outside yourself. You become the living change the field cannot help but echo. This is the paradox. So many miss the moment you stop chasing transformation and begin being transformation. The world reorganizes. You stop reaching for abundance and start living from the vibration of sufficiency. You stop longing for love and begin radiating the frequency of connection. You stop begging for freedom and walk with the resonance of liberation already alive in your chest. Think of it as a threshold. On one side is the seeker, forever looking, rehearsing, hoping. On the other side is the rememberer, the one who knows that the dream has always been within, waiting to be embodied. Crossing that threshold doesn't require force. It requires surrender. Surrender to the truth that the field is already reflecting you. And all that is left is to embody the version of yourself who lives the reality you desire. Becoming is not pretending. It is not putting on a mask of positivity. It is the quiet, steady choice to align your inner tone with your deepest truth. To wake each day and say not, "When will I become that?" but "I am that now." And the field, listening faithfully, reshapes itself to mirror your declaration. When you embody the shift, synchronicity becomes normal. Flow becomes natural. Obstacles still appear, but they no longer imprison you, because you recognize them as mirrors adjusting to your evolving frequency. You are no longer a victim of reflection. You are its author. Pause and feel this. You are not just standing before the mirror, you are woven into it. You are both the artist and the image, the transmitter and the reflection. The quantum field is not separate from you. It is the canvas you have been painting with your vibration all along. So let this be your initiation. Stop waiting for proof. Stop asking when it will come. Choose coherence now. Embody gratitude now. Radiate love now. Because in doing so, you collapse the waiting and step fully into becoming. You are the shift. You always have been. And as you remember this, reality has no choice but to bow to the frequency you are transmitting in this very breath. And from that final recognition that you are the shift itself, the cadence softens like waves settling after the tide. The mirror is still here, reflecting, faithful as ever, but now you see it differently. It is no longer a judge, no longer an obstacle. It is a friend, showing you, moment by moment, the signal you are sending. This realization doesn't demand perfection. It asks for presence. It asks for honesty. It asks for the willingness to pause and notice. What am I truly broadcasting right now? Because the truth is simple. The field has always been listening. It has always been reflecting. And the more you align with coherence, the more life begins to echo back a reality that feels unmistakably like home. So as you breathe here at the close of this journey, let yourself rest in the knowing that you are not waiting on the future, you are transmitting it now. You don't need to beg the universe for a breakthrough. You don't need to prove your worth to the field. You need only to embody the frequency of the self, who already lives the reality you desire. The rest is reflection. The rest is resonance. If something in you stirred awake through these words, hold it gently. Let it deepen, not as a performance, but as a remembrance. And when you step back into your day, notice how even the smallest shifts in your vibration ripple outward. Notice how presence clears the static. Notice how authenticity sharpens the signal. You are the artist. You are the canvas. You are the reflection. The field does not move apart from you. It moves with you, always. So walk forward now, not searching, not waiting, but radiating, and let the world mirror back the truth you've always carried, that your vibration is the command, and reality is already listening.